What's up? I hit the record button and then I was getting ready to get up. It's fine. I don't need to get up. It's absolutely fine. What's up, y'all? It is your girl, Pastor Courage Molina, with Mornings in the Word. Today we're on day 62 of the Chronological Bible reading plan. So I'm going to be reading Numbers chapter 18 through 20 from the New Living Translation. So let's get into it. These are the duties of the priests and the Levites. Then the Lord said to Aaron, "You, your sons, and your relatives from the tribe of Levi will be held responsible for any offenses related to the sanctuary. But you and your sons alone will be held responsible for violations connected with the priesthood." Laying down responsibilities. Bring your relatives of the tribe of Levi, your ancestral tribe, to assist you and your sons as you perform the sacred duties in front of the tabernacle of the covenant. But as the Levites go about all their assigned duties at the tabernacle, they must be careful not to go near any of the sacred objects or the altar. If they do, both you and they will die. The Levites must join you in fulfilling their responsibilities for the care and maintenance of the tabernacle, but no unauthorized person may assist you. You yourselves must perform the sacred duties inside the sanctuary and at the altar. If you follow these instructions, the Lord's anger will never again blaze against the people of Israel. I myself have chosen your fellow Levites from among the Israelites to be your special assistants. They are a gift to you, dedicated to the Lord for service in the tabernacle, but you and your sons, the priests, must personally handle all the priestly rituals associated with the altar and with everything behind the inner curtain. I am giving you the priesthood as your special privilege of service. Any unauthorized person who comes too near the sanctuary will be put to death. The Lord gave these further instructions to Aaron. I myself have put you in charge of all the holy offerings that are brought to me by the people of Israel. I have given all these consecrated offerings to you and your sons as your permanent share. You are allotted the portion of the most holy offerings that is not burned on the fire. This portion of all the most holy offerings include the grain offerings, sin offerings, and guilt offerings will be most holy, and it belongs to you and your sons. You must eat it as a most holy offering. All the males may eat of it. You must treat it as most holy. All sacred offerings and special offerings presented to me when the Israelites lift them up before the altar also belong to you. I have given them to you and to your sons and daughters as your permanent share. Any member of your family who is ceremonially clean may eat of these offerings. I also give you the harvest gifts brought by the people as offerings to the Lord, the best of the olive oil, new wine, and grain. All the first crops of their land that the people present to the Lord belong to you. Any member of your family who is ceremonially clean may eat this food. Everything in Israel that is specially set apart for the Lord also belongs to you. The firstborn of every mother, whether human or animal, that is offered to the Lord will be yours, but you must always redeem your firstborn sons and the firstborn of ceremonially unclean animals. Redeem them when they are 1 month old. The redemption price is 5 pieces of silver, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel, which equals 20 gerahs. However, you may not redeem the firstborn of cattle, sheep, or goats. They are holy and have been set apart for the Lord. Sprinkle their blood on the altar and burn their fat as a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. The meat of these animals will be yours, just like the breast and right thigh that are presented by lifting them up as a special offering before the altar. Yes, I'm giving you all these holy offerings that the people of Israel bring to the Lord. They are for you and your sons and daughters to be eaten as your permanent share. This is an eternal and unbreakable covenant between the Lord and you, and it also applies to your descendants. And the Lord said to Aaron, "You priests will receive no allotment of land or share of property among the people of Israel. I am your share and your allotment. As for the tribe of Levi, your relatives, I will compensate them for their service in the tabernacle. Instead of an allotment of land, I will give them the tithes from the entire land of Israel. From now on, no Israelite except priests or Levites may approve the tabernacle, may approach the tabernacle. If they come too near, they will be judged guilty and will die. Only the Levites may serve at the tabernacle, and they will be held responsible for any offenses against it. This is a permanent law for you to be observed from generation to generation. The Levites will receive no allotment of land among the Israelites, because I have given them the Israelites' tithes, which have been presented as sacred offerings to the Lord. This will be the Levite share. This is why I said they would receive no allotment of land among the Israelites. So they're not getting an allotment of land, but the tithe, which is 10%, and the first fruit, those things are being given to them for their use, for their food. It's their permanent share. God is really setting up exactly not just what to do, but how to do it. And he is making sure that those who have been chosen to take care of the holy things will themselves be taken care of. Right, chapter or verse 25. The Lord also told Moses, give these instructions to the Levites. When you receive from the people of Israel the tithes I have assigned as your allotment, give a tenth of the tithes you receive, a tithe of the tithe, to the Lord as a sacred offering. The Lord will consider this offering to be your harvest offering, as though it were the first grain from your own threshing floor or wine from your own winepress. You must present 1/10 of the tithe received from the Israelites as a sacred offering to the Lord. This is the Lord's sacred portion, and you must present it to Aaron the priest. Be sure to give to the Lord the best portions of the gifts given to you. So they are going to get a certain amount, right? They're going to get the tithe, and then they're going to tithe from what they receive, right? Because it's their income. I think sometimes we think that giving or providing giving a like a holy offering is only working if it's coming from money that I've went out and worked and earned. But this is for all intents and purposes kind of like an allowance, right? It's what the Lord has set up for them, and they are still giving 10% of that to the priests. Verse 30, also give these instructions to the Levites. When you present the best part as your offering, it will be considered as though it came from your own threshing floor or winepress. You Levites and your families may eat this food anywhere you wish, for it is your compensation for serving in the tabernacle. You will not be considered guilty for accepting the Lord's tithes if you give the best portion to the priest, but be careful not to treat the holy gifts of the people of Israel as though they were common. If you do, you will die. Set them up so that they are compensated for the thing, because they take care of the tabernacle. So they're not like, oh, I'm trying to take care of the tabernacle and go out here and work. I love that. Anytime I'm reading the Bible, but especially during these times where it's like, okay, this doesn't really seem to apply to me. One of the things that I often think about is, what does this show me about God? What does this tell me about God? So I want you to be thinking about those. What does this reveal to me about God? Because where I get to know him and I can see that his character is consistent, it's not necessarily that I have to learn something new about God every single day. But if I can see in different situations, in different settings, in different books with different people, I can see the pattern of his character, right? I can start to see the character of God and how consistent the character of God is. Then when I start going through something or I'm dealing with something, I know that I can trust the character of God because he's always been this way. He's always like that. So he's not going to change up on me now, right? That way we can encourage ourselves. So when you're reading the Bible, especially now that I'm reading this particular sections and they are not so present day, right? The actual scripture itself doesn't seem so present day. I want you to be considering, what does this reveal to me about God? And if I believe that to be a true about God, then what does that look like for me? I just want you to kind of have that in the back of your mind. All right, chapter 19, the water purification. Let me get some water. No pun intended. Oh, this hair. Chapter 19, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, here is another legal requirement commanded by the Lord. Tell the people of Israel to bring you a red heifer, a perfect animal that has no defects and has never been yoked to a plow. Give it to Eleazar, the priest, and it will be taken outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence. Eleazar will take some of its blood on his finger and sprinkle it 7 times toward the front of the tabernacle. As Eleazar watches, the heifer must be burned, its hide, meat, blood, and dung. Eleazar the priest must then take a stick of cedar, a hyssop branch, and some scarlet yarn, and throw them into the fire where the heifer is burning. Then the priest must wash his clothes and bathe himself in water. Afterward, he may return to the camp. though he will remain ceremonially unclean until evening. The man who burns the animal must also wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and he too will remain unclean until evening. Then someone who is ceremonially clean will gather up the ashes of the heifer and deposit them in a purified place outside the camp. They will be kept there for the community of Israel to use in the water for the purification ceremony. This ceremony is performed for the removal of sin. The man who gathers up the ashes of the heifer must also wash his clothes, and he will remain ceremonially unclean until evening. This is a permanent law for the people of Israel and any foreigners who live among them. All those who touch a dead human body will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days. They must purify themselves on the third and seventh days with the water of purification. Then they will be purified. But if they do not do this on the third and seventh days, they will continue to be unclean even after the seventh day. All those who touch a dead body and do not purify themselves in the proper way defile the Lord's tabernacle, and they will be cut off from the community of Israel. Since the water of purification was not sprinkled on them, their defilement continues. This is the ritual law that applies when someone dies inside a tent. All those who enter that tent and those who were inside when the death occurred will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days. Any open container in the tent that was not covered with a lid is also defiled. And if someone in an open field touches the corpse of someone who was killed with a sword or who died a natural death, or if someone touches a human bone or a grave, that person will be defiled for 7 days. Which makes the throwing, so there's this thing that happens in the Bible. I don't know where it is found, where a man is killed and they throw his dead body into this grave, and it hits the bones of Elijah, and then the man is resurrected. That makes that resurrection just even more powerful in my mind, because really touching a dead body, that makes the anointing of Elijah, right, even more impressive, awe-inspiring, right? That, touching a dead body makes you defiled and unclean, but that particular body brought him to life. Verse 17, to remove the defilement, put some of the ashes from the burnt purification offering in a jar and pour fresh water over them. Then someone who is ceremonially clean must take a hyssop branch and dip it in the water. That person must sprinkle the water on the tent, on all the furnishings in the tent, and on the people who were in the tent, also on the person who touched a human bone, or touched someone who was killed, or who died naturally, or touched a grave. On the third and seventh days, the person who is ceremonially clean must sprinkle the water on those who are defiled. Then on the seventh day, the people being cleansed must wash their clothes and bathe themselves, and that evening they will be cleansed of their defilement. But those who become defiled and do not purify themselves will be cut off from the community, for they have defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. Since the water of purification has not been sprinkled on them, they remain defiled. This is a permanent law for the people. Those who sprinkle the water of purification must afterward wash their clothes, and anyone who then touches the water used for purification will remain defiled until the evening. Anything and anyone that a defiled person touches will be ceremonially unclean until evening. Ton of instruction, a ton of like clean and unclean and procedure, how things have to go. This is not so much, there are some rules here, right? Some if you do this, then these are the consequences. But this, again, is a lot of procedure. What does that tell me about God? That there's a certain way that things need to be done or have to be done, that God is calling us to do certain things a certain way. Chapter 20, Moses strikes the rock. In the first month of the year, the whole community of Israel arrived in the wilderness of Zin and camped out Kadesh. While they were there, Miriam died and was buried. There was no water for the people to drink at that place, so they rebelled against Moses and Aaron. The people blamed Moses and said, "If only we had died in the Lord's presence with our brothers. Why have you brought the congregation of the Lord's people into this wilderness to die, along with all our livestock? Why did you make us leave Egypt and bring us here to this terrible place? This land has no grain, no figs, no grapes, no pomegranates, and no water to drink." Moses and Aaron turned away from the people, still complaining. Moses and Aaron turned away from the people and went to the entrance of the tabernacle, where they fell face down on the ground. Then the glorious presence of the Lord appeared to them, and the Lord said to Moses, "You and Aaron must take the staff in the assembly and assemble the entire community. As the people watch, speak to the rock over there, and it will pour out its water. You will provide enough water from the rock to satisfy the whole community and their livestock. So Moses did as he was told. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come and gather at the rock. Listen, you rebels, he shouted. Must we bring you water from this rock? Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with the staff, and water gushed out. So the entire community and their livestock drank their fill. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land I am giving them. This place was known as the waters of Meribah, which means arguing, because there the people of Israel argued with the Lord, and there he demonstrated his holiness among them. He started to do what he was told, to speak to the rock. He assembled the people. He got them there. I wonder if just looking at them pissed him off. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, they were doing what they shouldn't do. They fell on their face before God. God spoke to him, told him what to do. This is Moses who went to Egypt, and all of these signs and wonders were done at his hand. This is Moses who's been in the wilderness, and all of these signs and wonders have been done at his hand. We see the quail come in. We just see the manna come, like just all these things he's seen. He's seen the Lord breathe. Maybe didn't come down from heaven, but he saw the people who rebelled consumed with fire. 250 people. I don't know what day that was, but that was some days ago. It was still in Numbers. 215 men consumed. He saw 14,700 men. Like Moses saw all these things. So now God is telling him to do something. I wonder what happened between getting instruction from God. Come on, the Lord's talking to me. Getting instruction from God and then doing what he said to do. I wonder if it's because Moses was just so angry about how they continue to complain. I wonder if Moses was just so overwhelmed by their ungratefulness for all the things that he had done for them, yes, through God, but I'm the one that came to deliver the food. I'm the one that came to get you. So I did all of this stuff, and y'all still be steady complaining against me. I wonder if Moses was just so frustrated with that. And so instead of speaking to the rock, he struck the rock. I wonder how often, as people of God, we respond the same way, where God is calling us to speak a word of life, where God is calling us to show grace, to pour on more love and more forgiveness. But then when we see the person and we know how much we've already done for them, yes, through the capacity that we've been given by God. Maybe I've been giving you money. Maybe I've been helping you. I've been doing these things for you, but I wouldn't be able to do those things if it wasn't for the power of God in my life. If it wasn't that God say so, that I woke up in my right mind and I had the skill or the finances or whatever to help you. I wonder what it, how we respond when God is telling us to show somebody grace and love and forgiveness and compassion. I wonder what it would look like in a marriage if, when the Lord told us to put on a quiet, a gentle and quiet spirit. I wonder if anytime we look at the spouse who has been complaining or doing whatever, if we feel like, I can't speak nice to him. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to do what the Lord said, kind of. I'm going to provide this meal for him. I'm not going to leave. I'm still going to be here, but I'm going to be here with an attitude. I'm so grateful, right? So grateful that we have the word and we can learn from other people. So grateful. Makes me want to ask myself, when has the Lord told me to speak to a situation that I decided to beat into submission? Verse 14, while Moses was at Kadesh, he sent ambassadors to the king of Edom with this message. This is what your relatives, the people of Israel, say. You know all the hardships we have been through. Our ancestors went down to Egypt and we lived there a long time, and we and our ancestors were brutally mistreated by the Egyptians. But when we cried out to the Lord, he heard us and sent an angel who brought us out of Egypt. Now we are camped at Kadesh, a town on the border of your land. Please let us travel through your land. We will be careful not to go through your fields and vineyards. We won't even drink water from your wells. We will stay on the king's road and never leave it until we have passed through your territory. But the king of Edom said, stay out of my land, or I will meet you with an army. The Israelites answered, we will stay on the main road. If our livestock drink your water, we will pay for it. Just let us pass through your country. That's all we ask. But the king of Edom replied, stay out. You may not pass through our land. With that, he mobilized his army and marched out against them with an imposing force. Because Edom refused to allow Israel to pass through the country, Israel was forced to turn around. Wow. Because they wouldn't let them go through, they had to turn around. Verse 22, the whole community of Israel left Kadesh and arrived at Mount Hor, there on the border of the land of Edom. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, the time has come for Aaron to join his ancestors in death. He will not enter the land I'm giving the people of Israel, because the two of you rebelled against my instructions concerning the water at Meribah. Now take Aaron and his son Eleazar up Mount Or. There you will remove Aaron's priestly garments and put them on Eleazar his son. Aaron will die there and join his ancestors. So Moses did as the Lord commanded. The three of them went up Mount Or together as the whole community watched. At the summit, Moses removed the priestly garments from Aaron and put them on Eleazar, Aaron's son. Then Aaron died there on top of the mountain, and Moses and Eleazar went back down. When the people realized that Aaron had died, all Israel mourned for him 30 days. That's it for today. As we end right here for 30 days, it seems like they're not going to be able to get to where they're trying to get to. They're going down this road. They want to go down this road so they can get to the land that God has for them. And this king's like, no, y'all can't come through. And then he came against them with this great force. And so they turned around. And then Aaron died. So we got stopped. We're facing another enemy that's got some aggression. We had to turn back around. We don't really know how we're going to get through. And now Aaron, who's been with us all this time, has died. That seems like a lot of transitions, a lot of negative things happening. I wonder what was going on through their mind at that time. And for 30 days, they mourned him. So it's not like, they were stopped and then the Lord showed up and shut down the Edomites and let them pass through. Or like even right here, like the Lord even said anything to Moses about what would happen. They turned back around and the Lord was like, okay, now it's time for Aaron to die. I just think that I probably would have been feeling a type of way. I might have been mourning for Aaron but I also would have been feeling a little bit of despair, like, oh my goodness, bro, we can never catch a break. Y'all don't feel like that? Even though the Lord's been showing up for you all the time, the second you start to meet that next section of opposition, you like, bruh, when am I going to catch a break? I wonder if they were feeling that way. We know they're prone to complaining. So I'll be interested to see what that looks like on tomorrow. All right, I hope that this has blessed you. If you love this video, then go ahead and hit that like button. Be sure to drop a comment. Let me tell you something. Liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment when you watch it are all the ways that you can support Bold Faith Community Church and our ministry and the way that we are on this channel, right? The Bible reading that we're doing, because YouTube sees that as support. YouTube sees that and says, oh, this is good content. So if you're here, whether you're watching the replay or you're watching with me live, be sure to comment in the chat. Even if you have to come back later to comment in the chat. Maybe you're watching it as listening to it on your commute or your hands aren't free. Even if you just come back to say amen, amen, or come back to let us know where you're watching it from, or come back to just say, hey, keep doing this. This is helping me. This is good for me. Let us know and help us let YouTube know. Try sharing this. If this has blessed you, also hit that share button. You can, when you hit that share button, it makes it super easy for you to share on your Facebook. It gives you a link that you could copy and share in text message. If you are here, I would love for you to support this ministry by sharing this somehow. Like it, comment, share it. Okay. All right. I love y'all. Oh, listen, y'all know what it is about the retreat, July 14th through the 17th. You ever just want to hang out with people who just love the Lord? You want to travel with people who love the Lord? You want to go to a hotel, have some spa experiences, and you know it's going to be good, clean, fun. It's going to be good, clean, fun, because that's the kind of stuff you like to do. You want to be able to laugh. You want to be able to cry a little bit. You want to have some time to reflect. You want to get poured into. If that is something that you absolutely love, then I want you to go ahead and register for the Faith Ignited Retreat. It is going to be that. There's definitely going to be some pouring into. You're going to need to bring your Bible. We have sessions every day, but they're included in our itinerary is time for you to sit by the pool, time for you to be in your room reflecting, time for you to get a meal with somebody that you met there or somebody that you're meeting there for the first time. It's going to be time in there for that. It's not going to be go, go, go. So let this be, your fun time. I'm always looking for opportunities to connect with other women. And a lot of times the things that I see, it's either going to be all conference. So I'm just going to be there. It's going to be a conference the whole time. And then I'm going to be going back to the room by myself. There's not going to be a lot of time, right? I've been to conferences like that and those are great too. Or it's going to be, all this, not I want to say doom and gloom, but just all this, we just going to be sitting and reading and praying the whole time. Or it's like, okay, these are for sophisticated women, but there's just going to be like, oh, there's going to be a party. There's going to be this. There's just going to be things that I'm not going to participate in. And it's not because it's anything. It's just not my thing. Do you know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about that with this. You don't have to worry about what type of people, what type of conversations that are going to be had. It's going to be the best time you ever had. So go ahead, go to boldfaithchurch.org, reserve your spot, register right now for the Faith Ignited Retreat 2023. All right. I'll be there. I cannot wait to meet you. Hug your neck. I'm probably going to be like, ah! I'm probably going to scream because I scream in real life. So probably so. All right. I love y'all. I will see y'all back here. All right. Love you. Later. Bye.